Hello. Good evening. Good evening, Zambia. Chiwempala time, it's about 21:30. So I'm very happy that you could join me today. I'm going to give you a few minutes to share with as many people as possible, because today it's going to be a great day. We've got to deal with several things. Like some of you are aware, there was a COVID test at my office at Munsha Law. So there was a COVID positive test at Munsha Law. And so we are now in quarantine, and my quarantine ends on February 4. I did my test yesterday, and I hope that it's going to come out negative. Otherwise, I am in quarantine for some time. Please share with as many people as possible, because we've got to talk about NAPSA. We'll talk about the High Court decision today, and we are also going to talk about the report that has been given to President Lungu about the murder of the killing of Onsama and Kaunda. We'll talk about that for a bit, and so it's going to be loaded today. If you are on Facebook, share with as many people as possible. I'll also try to share from here to see that my page gets it. The problem has been that Facebook is still working on this. It's quite terrible that that Facebook has still not resolved the issues. Now you're going to be seeing a little bit of a problem with the video, but just stay with us. Excuse me. Just stay with us regarding the video. So I'm preparing you in advance so that you know that the video is not likely to be very, very stellar, but at least you can follow through the voice and everything that we are going to talk about today. Okay, and everything that we are going to talk about today. Anyway, so let's get started. I think we are around 98. 98. I'm not sure. Let me see whether I can share this to my page. Yeah, I hope that we can get good numbers. Okay, so my page is also working, I think. So from the Elias Musha page, are you able to connect? Are you seeing me just fine? Otherwise, we get started. Thank you. All right, so maybe a little bit of history is important in this case. So just like always, we try to go back to the history of things. So apparently in 2004, Mr. Hichilema purchased a farm in Kalomo. Now, we don't know exactly, the deal that they entered and everything else. So he bought that farm in Kalomo. And then from 2004, somewhere around last year, somebody came up and said that they were going to sue Mr. Hichilema in the Lusaka High Court. So they sued Mr. Hichilema in the Lusaka High Court. And today, the judges have issued a decision. I think Justice Lombepiri has issued a decision where she has dismissed the application. She says that whoever had sued Mr. Hichilema had sued out of time. Now, you remember that this is the High Court action that, in fact, led to the police summoning Mr. Hichilema in December last year. that led to the killing of Mr. Nsama, who was a prosecutor, and Joseph Kaunda, who was a supporter of the UPND. So it is this baseless, again, we've got to say it. It is this baseless accusation that led to the deaths of these innocent people. And I'm not sure that we can even appreciate just the size of this scandal. So here is a person, a private individual, who decides then to use whatever was going on in the High Court to go and report at the police station. And the police station then, and the police officers then decide to summon Hichilema. And when they summon Hichilema, that's when now those deaths are happening. That's why, for me, I have looked at this issue and I have thought about it very deeply. And I think that from the way the state has been behaving towards Mr. Hichilema, I think Mr. Hichilema is quite innocent. I think they behave the way they behave because they know that they don't have anything to tie him down to, and so they resort to going into history. They resort to making up stuff. They resort to creating things. Because if he had ever done even like a little thing, this guy would be in jail by today. That's why I always say, "Atingabadi paya," you know, and I mean it. Ngabadi paya. If this guy was guilty, or if this guy had in fact done anything, even if it's a small thing, they would have killed him by now. All right, I think that's what would have happened. Because they are trying to find any reason why they should arrest him. Okay? And so today, the Lusaka High Court has issued a very, very clear decision. Very, very nice. Very nice. Justice Lombepiri, that you have run out of time. First of all, it's a civil case. So you've run out of time and you were not even party to the transaction that happened. So how do you now come to say that you're going to sue a person in the Lusaka High Court? So the civil case has been dismissed. Chances that a criminal case can stand are extremely low, right? Because civil cases usually have a lower standard of proof, very low, which is a reasonable doubt, which is pretty low. It's lower than beyond reasonable doubt that is expected in a criminal charge. So if somebody loses under the reasonable the standard of probabilities, it's very difficult that they can win under beyond reasonable doubt test. Okay, so this is in fact a good day for Mr. Hichilema. I think he's quite happy that that High Court decision is not going anywhere. All right. Now, after the High Court decision today, we've understood that the police have sent a report to the president. They gave the president a report today in connection with the killing of Nsama Kaunda. Now, I like sometimes boring you with some stuff, so I'm going to bore you a little bit with a law lecture, okay? I'll try to use Bemba as well while I'm explaining this law lecture. Please, it's very important. Okay. I find it extremely unusual that the president has received the report and then he says that he has sent the report to the Director of Public Prosecutions for further action. That is what the press statement says. Okay? I wish I can read it right now, but let me not bore you with the details of the statement. What the President of the Republic of Zambia is saying is he received a report from the police. After studying the report from the police, he has now decided to take that report and take it to the Director of Public Prosecution for further action. Okay? For further action. Now, the question that we have is, under what law did the president take a report and give it to the Director of Public Prosecution? Under what law? Under what guideline? Under what regulations? Okay? It's very important. How did the president hand over this report to the Director of Public Prosecutions? Under what law? I'll tell you in a bit. There is no law on which the president has acted today to take that report and take it to the Director of Public Prosecution. There is no law. Okay? Here is the reason. Here is the reason. And in fact, this act of taking a report and taking it straight to the Director of Public Prosecution is extremely suspicious. It's suspicious in the sense that the president does not seem to be wanting to act. Okay? There is something that is hiding because it's not making sense. It's not making legal sense. It's not making sense under the directives of the Director of Public Prosecutions, under the NPA, and under common sense. It's not making sense. And this is the reason why it's not making sense. Okay, in Zambia, there is a notional separation. Okay, in Zambia and much of the common law countries, meaning countries that use a legal system that is very similar to England. Okay, like the legal system we use here in Alberta, very, very similar. Okay, the legal system we use here in Alberta, there is a notional difference between people who investigate a crime and charge people for a crime and the prosecution. And our system of law in Zambia and across the common law countries, prosecutors are not investigators. Because investigators become witnesses when the prosecutors are prosecuting the case. So, when we say the state, all right, when we say the state refers to the prosecutors, but the witnesses for the state usually are investigators, police officers. The Director of Public Prosecution has notional independence as a prosecutor. They have a notional independence from what? From the police. So under criminal procedure, this is what is supposed to happen. The police are the ones who investigate a crime. They are the ones who investigate a crime. Of course, the law recognizes other agencies, for example. They are specialized agencies under our constitution and under our laws that investigate crimes. Okay? What are these agencies? There is the police, General Police, CID, Criminal Investigations Department, CID, okay, which is the Department of the Police. Then there is DEC, Drug Enforcement Commission. It's a specialized agency that investigates crime. Then we have the Anti-Corruption Commission. It is also a specialized agency that investigates crime. These are known as investigative wings, all right? There could be more, but for now, we have three. The police, CID, and then we have the DEC, and we have the SEC. These are known as the investigative wings. The Director of Public Prosecution is supposed to receive a docket opened by either of these agencies, all right? Now, the SEC Act, of course, empowers the SEC to also be investigators and prosecutors, right? Because the SEC has its own prosecution as well. So there is a special law, a special statute that governs operations of the SEC and the DEC being specialized investigative and prosecutorial wings. Okay, so they have the law that governs them. However, routine police matters, the police, the Zambia police, they are the ones who investigate. They are the ones who charge. Okay. After they charge, they then take a docket. Now, a docket is an open document, unless a court seals it. A docket, it's open, unless a court seals it. So you take a docket that has been opened. You charge a person, the police are the ones who charge. They are the ones who say that this person has committed a crime. Reasonable doubt, reasonable suspicion, okay? That's the standard that the police use. They charge a person who is reasonably suspected to have committed a crime. They charge, they open a docket. Then that docket gets taken to the Director of Public Prosecution or the prosecutors. The prosecutors then study what has been charged. And then the prosecutors have the prerogative. It's known as prosecutorial discretion, the discretion to decide whether they are going to go ahead and prosecute or not. And prosecutions are political. But that is not the issue here. So it is extremely interesting. It's extremely funny that the president says that he got a report and has sent it to the director of public prosecution. The director of public prosecution under our law cannot initiate a charge on her own. The reason is that she acts in public interest, in the interest of the state, in the interest of state, to charge people that have already been to review and to prosecute, people that have already been charged by the investigative wings. So this report that has been sent to the director of public prosecution, does it include a charge? Has anyone been charged for a crime? If so, what is the crime that they've been charged? Thirdly, why isn't that charge open? Has there been a court order that seals that report? This is the confusion that President Lungu is creating by sending this report directly to, by claiming that he's sending this report directly to the director of public prosecutions. That is what is happening. Okay, and so that is the issue here that is happening. So if he says that he has sent this report over to the director of public prosecution, what is the director of public prosecution supposed to do with that report? Okay. Now, the president, of course, being chief executive of our country, might say that he's going to, has he charged the police? Has he charged someone? You know, because he could say that, well, I gazetted myself and I became a police officer and I've charged someone for the crime of the killing of Osama and Kaunda. Maybe he can do that. But the issue is, if he sends an indictment, if he sends a docket, then that docket must be public. There is no docket that goes to the director of public prosecution in secret. You know, takwaba. Ifo efunde diwomba nifi. Muzambia. Kwa liba okupusanya. Ayin. Okupusanya bali pusana. Baga pokola. Abafuwairisho mulando. Bali pusana. Na ama prosecutors. Ama prosecutors ni ba lawyer. Okay? Bambite ba lawyer, you're in the sense of being members of the bar. Bambe ba bachitafe gazette by the government. Eba ya nomba muku chita proof case. Umulandu wabu teko. Eba ya muku chita proof. Ama prosecutors. Eba ya muku chita shani. Muku leta evidence pa the magistrate. Elo nomba ba itabaka pokola. Kuku bama witnesses. Waga mboni. Ni waga pokola. Ebo betako. Efe nomba nga kuli magistrate alifilia. Elo nomba ma prosecutors ba itaka pokola. Ulio wa iteto muntu. Bamu ipushabebere aireiwe nomba kapokola londolola kuli magistrate if you're chaba ema prosecutors nomba kwa defense counsel dandobuluira abalandira kwa abantu abo bachita accused of crimes ayin ensto yabona bena their defense counsel ensto yabo nomba if you're balungu balandirero fyakwe bati na batuma docket ayin straight report you atibayitumine from baiberenga report elo batwalira nani batwalira ama prosecutors under our laws ba prosecutor tetbayimine fyebeka palwabo ati yo mukwai bala tampako ukuchita charge langu ukuchita investigate. No, because the DPP is not an investigator under our laws. Ayin. DPP, the National Prosecution, that's why by it the National Prosecution Authority. Bena baba mo involved nga chakutila ama investigators bapwa elo batana charge umuntu bamuchita charge elo baitumpamo as prosecutors ama prosecutors ngata bachitirecho teti babe involved. Okay, now of course there are some specialized situations where there is a law under which the president might try to fuse all these things. But that is not what the report is saying. That is not what President Lungu is saying. He has quoted no law that that mandates him to take that report directly to the prosecutors. You see, he's an extremely weak leader. He's failing to act. So nomba kuchitafe confuse ifintu mamona. Efe na alela go batu ipe ni Lungu. Ebe peye. Panto abama soja abaka pokolaba. Nefi futi fine ni Lungu abapere. Everything. Nafi manda ni Lungu abapere. So nomba kuleta more confusion nomba. Kuisa tumafi directly report you at have taken the report and have given it to the Director of Public Prosecution. Makwetu. Under what law? But webe. But webe. Under what law? And that report cannot be public. So number, what of if the NPA, the DPP, what is the DPP even supposed to say? No one. Because sometimes when things like this are happening, some people think we are just trying to be malicious, right? You know, we are not trying to be malicious. We are not trying to be malicious. The question is the same. What is happening? What is the Director of Public Prosecution supposed to do with this presidential report? The National Prosecution Authority, they are not going to investigate this matter because they don't have the authority to investigate unless an act of parliament gives them that authority. They're not going to investigate. If the president had established an investigation under his wide discretionary powers, he should have told us, okay, but this report is also an investigation that not only makes recommendations, but also charges particular individuals that are responsible. Because what he's doing now is laundering. So he is laundering. Let me use this word, to launder. Okay? Money laundering. Money laundering is a situation that happens when a person takes dirty money and launders it through legitimate channels, and then it becomes clean. What the president is trying to do is that he's trying to launder this report by abusing the National Prosecution Authority. Because what is the National Prosecution Authority going to say? The National Prosecution Authority can't open its own docket. Are they going to read and say that number we are going to charge these police officers? The Director of Public Prosecution is going to decide that. By the time that the Director of Public Prosecution is deciding that, you have already confused good order. You've already confused it. So then the DPP is the one who will be fighting the police, isn't it? So now the DPP is going to go and tell the police to say, give me the two people that shot Nsama. Give me the guns. Give me the evidence. No. This does not make sense. Because abakwata evidence, that in Bakapokola. About the lead evidence. It's not prosecutors. Tari ama prosecutors kuba tulira a docket. Nishi bakapokola na bachita investigate na bakwata na evidence na bakwata na ma witnesses na bakwata nemfuti inshisha shutiro lyo muntu na bakwata fyonse ero bapela National Prosecution Authority ero nomba mo prosecutors batwala nomba ku court bachita review ama charges. What are these charges? Ushe charge yalola mo charge yalola mo no charge tairore demo on public interest. Nangu tatukweta ma resources to prosecute this particular case. Nangu bakapokola mwachita overcharge nangu mwachita undercharge. That is what prosecutors do. So what will happen with this report? You tell me. You know? You tell me. He's laundering. He's laundering the report. What we were expecting was for him to come out with a report. In fact, there is not even a report because this killing was done by Lungu. Lungu ewa batumine ba kambweke shepo. Lungu ewa tumine ba kapokola ba ireipa ya Nsama. baipaya ni Lungu ewaipaya mamva efyo domba na report apata pali report nga report ili kuisa ati naba ituma no nicho ewaipaya alefu okuichita cover alefu okuifimbirikisha ati bemumona twalimona kale pantu kwena mu Zambia takwa bakapokolonga sende mpolo aya mkushuta abantu without authority from civilian commanders. No. Over an event here, but it was days in planning. They had planned that event for days. That was not suddenly at Kapokola. No, that response was planned for days. That was not sporadic. That was not a riot. You know, a riot yakoba fiatis suddenly abantu bafulwa ngafira tuwafulirwe kuchingola during gassing. Ero nomba baisa fenomba abantu basavuka. That is not what happened here. They planned. In fact, they even released ahead of time armored police vehicles to prepare. And then today you say there is a mysterious somebody who shot, or a police officer who just misbehaved and shot. No. That soldier, that para guy who stood up with an AK-47, okutonta, okupikimuna the lawyer. I'm counsel and we've just come to pick up our friends. You are dead. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you. That was not sudden. It was all planned. That's why there can be no report. That's why he can't bring out the people he gave the guns and bullets and armored vehicles. Nafi manda. Ndozendalanda po ba Lungu ba lishtira fi manda bakapokola. Ife akoba bakapokola nga ba kuipaya. Nga fefi ni bachitire kuli nsama. Baipaya nsama. Within seconds vaya mukusende chitumbi. Batola ichitumbi chakwa nsama. Within seconds bakapokola. Eba tolele chitumbi bakapokola. Eba tolele ichitumbi chakwa nsama. There was no waiting at your face. The investigators they investigate what was happening. No, it is the police officers who went and picked up that body from where the bullet had gone. They messed up the crime scene. They covered their tracks. And today, the president is claiming that he has received a report. And after receiving that report, he has sent it directly to the Director of Public Prosecution. This is deception. This is not how no Christo. It's deception. If you are clear about it, kulanda okwebat abaipe nyaba bakapokola eba shutire. And bakapokola and that's the charge. That's the pressure that is there. The charge. I'm prosecutors. So it's extremely strange. NPA, a way of covering this head of state. They might want a way, because it's embarrassing. So what are they going to say tomorrow? So that nomba muleke ukulachita follow up Lungu na State House. Nomba bonse mutonte amano kuisa kuma prosecutors no kubabe pesha. Now President Lungu can't even think about how they are thinking and feeling ama prosecutors. Mwaipaya one of their own. Elo nomba mwabatuwalila emishingo. Mwabatuwalila timwebene kabiyeni mufisove imwebene mweka. He leaves them hanging. Without executive backing. What are they supposed to do? Are they going to treat the report as a docket? You see the confusion. Is the report a docket? Has the president charged? Has the president, after reading the report, has he decided to charge whoever is responsible and send it to the prosecutors? How will the prosecutors react? So how are they supposed to react? They'll be disappointed, I'm sure. They'll be like, uyukateko oyo atuleterera uyukateka tefe bateke echalo efio. That's what they'll say. Atuleterera. Why should he give us a report? Ama prosecutors, they don't deal with reports. Ama prosecutors need docket. Mwaisula docket. Here is a murder charge. Here is a theft charge. Here is a corruption charge. Ero apitulu kamo bebere if it was if it's tama prosecutors. So if the president has invented a certain administrative law procedure, the report that he receives, he refers it to the Director of Public Prosecution, let him tell us. But honestly, that is very wrong. It is morally wrong. Even if they are going to find a certain archaic law that empowers him to do that, it is extremely wrong, morally wrong, procedurally incorrect. It's laundering. Laundering a report, laundering a murder, laundering a charge. That's what it is. Okay? So when we are doing this, it's not because no. Tukareko kulanda. Ngachakutiro ubuteko. Bwale ko kuchitefia bupuba. Epera. Na ifo tukareka. So mwira twebati yo mkwai mwira landa imwereke nyukulanda buteko. Nomba ubuteko bufure bwaleke ifia kuchitachita. Ayin. Ubuteko bufure bwateka bwino. Ngabateka bwino. We have no problem with it. No mangaza kutira bareteke fifia kubatita bareteka bwino yo. Batuma ama bakapokolo kuya mkuipa ya abantu. Che bakapokola baipa ya abantu. Babe particularly report. Chira report yafuma mubumfiso ati bayituma kuli Director of Public Prosecution. Ekuteka oko. Transparency yo. Ekuteka bwinoko. Nomba tapaba report ngafera fine ndandire. Tapaba report apa ni balungu eba ipaya. Abatumine bali abakapokolo kuya mukushuta ni balungu. Fileta fya chitike fe by accident yo bali plana bwino ba plana. Ain. Na fi manda ba fifumya from the armory. Ati mo fi manda be on standby. Mukaye bukutole fitumbi. Ngatu washuta tuwaipaya. Now for what? For what? For a citizen who ashitire famu ko Kalomo, that matter has now been discharged. Should we move on to the next issue? All right. So what are the issues with what the president has done? It's laundering. You know, who changes she? Who changes she? Mama. And some are praising, hey, report you have matakuli report you kuyo. Who changes? Tefe bateke chalo ifi tefe bateke chalo yo. Teko oko tuakana. Teka. Ngabambo kuteka wino na ifu tukaikala fie. No matabare teka wino. Tefe bateke chalo yo. Tefe bateka. Okay. Can we move on to the next one? The next one is NAPSA. NAPSA, very important. Wise Manifesto Sapo Elia Shtumfu.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Before we go to the NAPSA issue, what is your comment on the report that the president has sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions?
Thank you very much. I think even me, I agree with what you have said. I think I'm very even shocked. I don't even know the procedure which the president has used for him just to see the report. At first, he received the half report. Today, we don't know if that is now a full report. According to what he has said has received the full report. Don't know if the investigation, when they have concluded their investigations, now it's up to the prosecutor. We don't know.
No,
we don't know because...
No, the issue is under our law, after the investigators investigate and charge, That's when a docket is sent to the Director of Public Prosecution.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are other ways by which you can, the state might want to get some advice, some advice, but this is not a situation of advice at all. What the president is saying is for action.
Yeah.
Now, how is the prosecutor going to do what action? Because the prosecutors can't go and search for evidence. They can't do that. If you went to the High Court, Elonombama prosecutors are the ones who actually went and got the evidence. A judge is going to throw it away because prosecutors cannot be testifying in a case.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, I took it over from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Somehow, Chief, what I've seen here in Zambia, especially what the president is doing, President Lungu, I think he's insulting a lot of lawyers, and I think he's sending a very bad message to us, the followers, who now will be thinking most of the lawyers don't know what they do, because President Lungu is a lawyer, and when he starts playing games like Tom and Jerry,
Tom and Jerry.
Have in Zambia, who can misunderstand the constitution or even the law. It's unfortunate to what he has done, but I know he's targeting someone, but that someone won't be prosecuted because he's an innocent person, even if it says until proven guilty. So we are patiently waiting, and as I'm listening to you, I'm even listening to someone on Diamond TV. So I'm following that program, but I'll be following you as well. Let me just give chance for you to elaborate more, and I will still come back.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Wiseman. Okay, so that's the issue that we are facing here. So this matter will go to judges, and what will a judge do? At a prosecutor, ever stray investigator when at the report here for Minekuizateka. President Lungu ever to pay the docket by president, but to pay the docket so to aleta uyu muntu to chitire charge. Tefe bateke chalo efio. Na imwe barera ndati tuikare feta tuwaikare fie iyo tatuwaikare feta tuwalabeko. Because we believe in what we are doing. If you're to lay chita to hold this government accountable, we believe in it so much. Nensansa tuwali mufio tu chita nechirumba mufio tu chita tuwali kwata. So teiti mututinyo kovati yo mkwai tuleke tatuwaleke paka mukatambyo kuchite vintu fya mano noti fya mungulu fya upuba iyo ifya madongo mulechite fya madongo na ifo tuikare fye awe tuikare fye ati yo chiteni fya madongo fya kubuta fya bushika dongo tuikare fye nabana ga dongo. No, we've got to say it. NAPSA, the NewsDiggers, which is a private newspaper, democracy dies where there is no light. Okay? What is the biggest thing that keeps democracy alive? Or even security? Let me just go to security. What is the biggest security tool ever? Okay, the biggest security tool is very simple. Before you even have very sophisticated locks and guard rooms or anything like that, the biggest security tool on the face of the earth, before you even invent airplanes or anything, it is known as the human eye. Amen. So, eyes. That's it. If you are a shop owner, that's why when you enter a shop, be very observant. Nangoma shops yaba mwenye. Mukai kamwala. Kuma shops yaba mwenye. The biggest security? It's not any cameras. It's the fact that someone is watching you. Somebody is looking at you. That is the biggest security strategy on the face of the earth. This is taught in military school, in police school, in security school. The biggest security tool is the eye. Amen. So the people that we call watch guards, Malonda, Do you realize that mostly bagote dimo just one person akakote paskuru baitafi akakote to become the guard. Now they're not saying that this guard has a lot of power to withstand criminals that come. No, what the guard has is not necessarily the gun or the chimbombo, whatever you call it. No, the biggest thing that guard has are the eyes, observing, looking, and watching. That's why they're called as, they're known as watchmen. Watching. The biggest institution of democracy in any country, it's the ability to have people that are watching. Very important. Watching. At the Bank of Zambia, in addition to all the security there are people that are doing what? That are watching. Watching. Very important to watch. If our democracy is to be vibrant, we've got to be watchers. Watching. Not sleeping. Watching. Because omuntu ngarakutira mule na ishibati kuliaba lemu mona na ngwachira fo kuchitefia kupuba kutaiwera mu pantu akutamfama wanu pantu. There is somebody watching them. Very important. So in Zambia, who are the watchmen? We have people like me. I'm a watchman. All right? People like newspapers, private newspapers, they are watchmen. Sometimes in watching, they might not see clearly, but they are certainly part of the democratic institutions. NGOs, it's known as civil society, the church. All these are institutions of our democracy because they are watching. If you let the government alone, they are going to do a lot of funny and stupid things. Now, this is not just about government, about anyone, no matter how much you trust them. Omuntu nangu feni Pope, Francis, Francois, Francesca, olia wine olia Pope olia. Mwamusha alieka. Ero tapali na abalemu mwana kutalufianya. Pope. Mwamu pera 1 million ati yo 1 million tusungireko. Ngatapali abalemu tamba kutasesha. It's beyond just trust. It requires watching. That's why Zambian democracy grows by people that are watching those in leadership. And those in leadership, because they know that somebody is watching them. The NewsDiggers is a newspaper. I write for a private newspaper as well, known as the Mast. Very important. But the NewsDiggers is one of the newspapers, and they helped to expose the honeybee scandal. They exposed it. They said in the honeybee scandal, a company was made 3 days or 5 days before registered, and it was given a $17 million contract, and it supplied rotten condoms. Ama condom yakwebati teti yabombe bwino yo yali tulaika yala poleka atama condom yakwebati nangufeka no ya poleka. Not that you need anything big. No. Ama condom yali nangufeka no kamsangoshan kupoleka. Ero yali tulaika kanshi fintu kuti fiapula nangufichepe shane kuti fiapula. Very, very bad condoms. Eyo hani biyachitire supply kubantu beso. Panado iyavola twali miranga na wakanika twali strepo discuss. Rotten Panado. Eyo batu were kuchwe mpala na kumirenge. Vaibolu pia. Ero nomba bachita supply ifi yavola. Namba nefa munkonke bwino. NewsDiggers. They are the watchmen, the Mast. Several other independent newspapers. They are democratic watchmen. They are looking. And they are saying, no, they've got whistles. Whistle. Very important. Security, jamenso na whistle. And ngawamona, ero nomba wachitashani, wachita whistle, wachita signal abantu bambyukwisa mugochita rescue. That is what watchmen do. So the NewsDiggers, they had this story, they had this scope, they stayed on the story, and they exposed the honeybee corruption. They went to the registrar's office of companies, because those are public records. They went, they unearthed who were the directors. And the other guy, is the director of Honeybee, Twaishiba. So they exposed that corruption. They exposed the Honeybee. Yarichita supplied poison Kovanto Beso. Several other watchmen, like Abena Jerome Kanika, Babu ama medicines, Vaya Pimamula, Basango Kovati, Fia Chave, Fiana Fiaben, Fiepayaban. In the meantime, company Yamunabo Aba Lungu. Company Yamunabo Aba Lungu. Umunabo Aba Lungu. Honeybee. $17 million. So number after his scandal yamfuika bueno. Therefore mumfuikish. Elo number Honeybee. Lawyer waba Honeybee. Uyu lawyer ishinali yakwe ni tutu angulu. Lawyer waba Honeybee. Ali bula kalata alembela va NAPSA. Okweba timwe va NAPSA nomba. Stay investigate NewsDiggers. At va NAPSA imwe NewsDiggers yi tairereta ama remittances to you. Each then investigate. Alembera na tumfuata. Alembera na imbi kalata kuisa ku Zambia Revenue Authority. Na bovene ya bebo kweba taleni nomba bane. Go and pounce on NewsDiggers. Now, the reason why we say this, it's because we want umulinganya. That's what we call it, Muchiremba. Umulinganya, fairness. What fairness means is, imwe as a government, mufirogo fair. Mufirogo fair so that you are using the same rules across the board. So that stamule bonfia the law to fix people that are watching over you and are opposed to you. That is the concern that we have. So this particular government now is using institutions of the state to squeeze this company. Not because they have a legitimate interest in whatever is going on, but simply because they want to close and shut it down so that there are not enough watchmen to watch over our democracy. So NAPSA, you need to understand that your role is that of a statutory function. You are not a branch of the Patriotic Front. Do not do what the Patriotic Front wants you to do. Do not squeeze political opponents of the Patriotic Front. If you do that, NAPSA, we are going to regard you as a branch of the Patriotic Front. Because the NewsDiggers are asking legitimate questions about what NAPSA is doing. They're saying that NAPSA decided to invest in a tile-making company, paying them $49 million to buy 49% shares in this company that has not even existed for 3 years. NewsDiggers is saying that according to the regulations that are guiding NAPSA and several other IDC-affiliated companies, these companies cannot invest in companies that are new. No. In other words, the Patriotic Front cannot form companies, to invest in these companies. That is why the law exists. NewsDiggers. Now, for that, we understand that NAPSA has decided to begin investigating NewsDiggers. And the whole reason why they're doing that is because NewsDiggers is trying to hold these criminals accountable. We find it unacceptable that they should do such a thing. NAPSA, please stay out of political squabbles and refuse to be used as a tool by this corrupt government. If you want to be used as a tool, then we are going to regard you as corrupt. Have you, as NAPSA, are you applying the same rules that you are applying on NewsDiggers as you are applying on Zambia Daily Mail or Times of Zambia or ZNBC? Why aren't you doing the same? Or Daily Nation, or several other newspapers that are aligned to the government? No. We find it unacceptable. This is a ploy. You are using the law to persecute. You are using the law to persecute. bantu kweneta kwaba company yonse fyonse befyali londoloka kuthi wasanga mwakantu ngolefu okukasanga azedara zedara if zedara wants ukusanga kalwafia bakakasanga anywhere. That's why ZRA must be apolitical, completely apolitical. But we see that these two institutions, NAPSA and ZRA, are being used by these criminals. So when we begin addressing the PF corruption number, na imwebe neba ZRA to allow me become more in this corruption. Na imwebe neba NAPSA to allow me become more in this corruption. Because you do not want to behave under your statutory function. Mulefo go at Bamibomfie as cadres. Then you are cadres. So I hope NewsDiggers is going to survive this. But even in your investigations, please do not be directed to investigate any company on the basis of political affiliation. That's all we are saying. That's all we are saying. Political affiliation. And so we disagree with Tutu Angulu's letter to NAPSA. It is a corrupt letter. It's a letter of total and complete corruption. Fiama dongo. Fiabarechta. Tefiabateke chalwe fio. If Honeybee has a problem with NewsDiggers, Baye mukushita Simon. Mamona, efyo ndanda polyonse. Ubuteko taufiro kula itumpa. Mumma disputes yabantu private companies. No. Umuntu ngakutuka. Kamushitire Simon. Oka mutwale kuisa kuma judges. Basha mfumu. Muga emukulubulula. In other words, if Honeybee is so concerned at what NewsDiggers has done, let them sue. Epe. Kanshi batutu wangulu. Ngani ba lawyer cha. Aba lawyer. Aba kama moname inshu ba lawyer ba chine. Ba lawyer. Aba NewsDiggers. Aba Honeybee. Na basende Simon. Batwale ba NewsDiggers ku court. Hayi. Hayifu pamo toka bafuirisha ko ba NewsDiggers. Ngabale fo bafuirisha. Toka bafuirisha ko. Pakoti baka ekitashani baka yerwira kuisa mu court epela emafunde evifya ko bati batutu wangulu nomba bambo okusuwakisha embwa shimbi ati kabiyeni muipa kabiyeni go and fight NewsDiggers icho twakana yo obuteko bufure bwa neutral buteko bwa bonse buteko of every Zambian buteko bwa every Zambian. Nomba teko bati mwe pantu namugwata power inonshita nomba you begin abusing it against our people. No. No. If Honeybee has issues with what NewsDiggers revealed, just take them to court. Eromuka extra proof but no, if we have NewsDiggers but we supply dama condoms yabofi. Atena evidence na tukwata mkwaya ayama condoms ayachine sana. Nokutulika tayatulika nokupoleka tayapoleka yalikosa mwaleta nama demonstrations mukoti ati bakoti lekeni tumirange ife amakondom yakosa ba NewsDiggers batu bepere na beno ba NewsDiggers baya mukuleta evidence na bena palwabo bebere we tried these condoms twalizanga mo bwafya twalizanga okubati these condoms yali tulika yali repuka yali poleka ati nangu kache pashani ngakabo mfye condom kupoleka. Those are some of the things that I expected. Okay. Prince Simon Jr. You want to name your organization after me? Why would you name it after me? You know, don't you think I'm too controversial? You know. Anyway, thank you for that honor. Much appreciated. Civil cases are judged on a balance of probabilities. Yes, Timmy, I think I misspoke there, Mboya. So it's a balance of probabilities for civil cases and then beyond reasonable doubt for criminal cases. So on balance of probabilities, the case has been dismissed. Anyway, It did not even go to the merits. They just said nchitana ipwa. Ngadi lyonse walikwisa. Wasensela chityakawa. Ali lyonse liwe walikwisa. Waisa mukuchita su HH nishi imyaka nashipita. Abantu nokulaba bali laba. Nefima paper la kulanzi fya chita disappear. Ero nomba wasensela tu wala chita su umuntu. Isn't that malice? Msiware ndifundeni vakwethu nchito yesu kufunda. George Gondwe, wow, I'm learning, thank you sir. This man is a crook, he's trying to evade responsibility. Kwena mwandiwe, I wouldn't be surprised kwena kwali vako kukuruku efyo ndandiro kwa watu ukuteko kwa wakerenga because tafipanga sense efyo vachita nicho evaipe. Serochilufya knows too much pantu takwa wafya. The minister of death knows where the bodies are buried. Yeah, he obviously does know. You must also talk of Chitalu getting a new job in Budget Parliamentary Committee. There's nothing unusual about that, right? Because as far as Parliament is concerned, he's an honorable member of Parliament. The people who should do far much more, it's the executive. Parliament must still run. You know, Parliament runs with the people that are members. So if Chitalu Chilufya is still a member of Parliament, then they gave him a committee, because every MP must be a member of a committee. You know, particularly senior members of Parliament like Chitalu Chilufya. So I don't find anything unusual. I don't blame Parliament. I think it's just that President Lungu has not acted, because if he had acted, he would have instructed or just let the SEC continue probing this thief. Sungazemba reports to DPP a public document after police have charged someone. So who has been charged according to you, and at which polling station? Yeah, that's the thing. Who has been charged, you know, and which police station? Because kind of dockets are open unless the docket is sealed by a judge. So apparently, President Lungu is the judge, but the seal report elonomba directly to prosecutors. What would the prosecutors do? Stokolo, we have the voice to speak for the people who can't voice out. Let's make the change that every Zambian need. Yeah. Koma ile nipo apopene first. Kakungu kalalo kanshishi ni pesa hapo ai. Kaingina tulande fingi. So they tuishile. Tutua's involvement with Anibia NAPSA plus holding a position, is in there a conflict in there somewhere? Yeah, obviously, yeah. There is just, yeah, you shouldn't, the lawyer like that shouldn't, the law does not really forbid lawyers, so they can be government ministers and also act privately. Yeah, so we have a precedence from the way Eric Silwamba and Malambo, they were ministers and then they acted for Chiluba in the great Chiluba parentage case. You know, I'll talk about that case one of these days. You know, the Wanikandadas versus Chiluba. In my opinion, that is like one of the most significant decisions to come from the High Court of Zambia. The Wanikandadas versus Chiluba. All right, and the Chiluba's lawyers were Eric Silwamba and Vincent Malambo, who were also ministers. So yes, it appears like ministers can, in fact, act for private clients. Is there any chance of DPP charging HH for shooting? No, I don't think so. But you never know. You never know. HH for life, yeah, of course. I'm non-partisan. You know, the only people I know is PF. They are thieves. That's the only thing I know. As far as who is the alternative, I leave it up to you to judge. Babadipo, Musadepo. Adifia Jala Lundenipo. I leave it up to you to judge. Anyway, That's all we can end for now. God bless you, and thank you so much for joining me today. We've done an hour. God bless you, and God bless our country. I'm still in quarantine until the 4th of February. I did my test yesterday. I'm still waiting for the results. So hopefully I don't have any COVID. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. God bless you. Let us do some work. We are working from home, apparently. All right. God bless you, and God bless our country. Thank you for joining me.